Hello, all. I hope the stream. Oh, there we go. Okay. Uh, I'm still getting the timing down on hitting stream and it actually starting to stream. I'll get better at that. I think I was like talking last time, mid sentence when it came on. Anyway, hello, all. Welcome back. Right with Light episode 3. Still in black and white. This is still version 1. Still making a lot of adjustments. So this is gonna be the first episode that we actually do from the dark room, though, on a Right with Light episode. We did do a photography episode Friday, and if you didn't catch that, check it out. We got some good photos and Fallout, of course. And today we're gonna do a little photo edit session. But first, I wanted to start doing some kind of fun. We're gonna unbox. I just got my new Argus C3, and we're gonna unbox that. I literally just got that delivered. Hopefully there's nothing weird in the box, because I wouldn't know. But if you are new to the stream, the camera that I use in game in Fallout to photograph with is based off of this actual camera model, and I thought it was kind of cool to actually have the real life camera. I've had and photographed with the Argus C3. This one's called the Colormatic, which is a later version of the C3. Not the latest version, but one of the later versions of a C3. But then I picked up the actual original C3, or at least one of the earlier models. There's several models. I'll probably do a whole talk about all the different models and maybe a whole video on them and all that stuff. Got a lot of stuff planned for that, but just know that the one in the game is not quite based off this, although it's almost a blend of both of these cameras for a couple of reasons, and I'll point that out in a second, how that is. Hopefully the unboxing isn't too loud. I don't know how that's going to go audio-wise. I guess I could turn this down. I feel like I'm going to forget and then not turn it back. Well, I'll turn it down a little bit while I unbox. But I'm just going to take that out of the box. Thought that'd be cool to do it on camera. Why not, you know? Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. New toys. Cheap toys, too. This camera is so inexpensive, and all the accessories and everything for it are so cheap. I'm just getting all this stuff on eBay for like 20 bucks. It's so cool. I think it ended up being like $38 or something with shipping, but pretty rad. Trash. Recycled box. Thank you very much. I love seeing that. Bubble wrap. I'm gonna do a whole bubble wrap popping stream, of course, one day. Why not? OCD bubble wrap Monk. That TV show Monk, he like pops all the bubbles and stuff. So cool. Ooh. Came with the original leather case, which I do have for the Colormatic as well. Ooh, this one's missing the back clip. There's like a little button back clip thing that holds this together. But that's fine. I don't know if I'm ever gonna use this leather case or not. Maybe style wise. Maybe I'll use it for like style one day. I'm like the most stylish person I know. I mean, I'm currently dressed as Wayne from Wayne's World. That was kind of unintentional. I mean, I just wear a lot of black V-necks. Obviously, the hat is intentional. Because I don't want to deal with my hair right now, okay? Ooh, look at this beauty. This has to be like the coolest looking camera. There's so much I have to say about this camera. There's a lot of content. What's up, Mike? Michael, what's your last name? Michael Armstrong, Strong G, something like that. 444. Love you, man. Thanks. This camera, Michael Armstrong. I think I had your name in my phone for a long time as Arms Are Strong, Michael Arms Are Strong. Anyway, I mean that's true. I've had an arm wrestle with you once, and it didn't go well for me. Anyway, I know I've seen them. You got some guns on you. No. Okay, so this is again the camera that I use when I'm shooting in game. This is the actual model that they use, and it's kind of a mix of both the original one that are not the original. This is an earlier model. This is the Colormatic, and they're slightly different. There's a couple slight different things. But what I will point out is what is interesting is that they've blended both of these cameras together into one for the actual in-game camera model. And then they made some adjustments, which I'm going to undo a whole thing on that. That's not really what this is about. That was just for me to unbox that. Cause like, I'm so stoked on this. I found this guy who does custom camera covers. And I got a custom camera cover to be designed closer to the one like I use in the game. Really sweet. But what I will point out really quick is the front face of both these cameras are almost exactly the same. The only difference, which you're not gonna be able to probably see right here, because I don't know if the camera's not. I have it on face detect autofocus, so it's always gonna lock onto my face. But these shutter speed dials right here on the original C3 or the earlier model C3s, there's a lot of shutter speed options. And on the C3 Colormatic, there's actually only 5 shutter speed options. And then they're also color coded. So there's like exposure guide that you can use. I think they give you in the camera manual that are color coded for different scenes that you can shoot, just so you have a better idea of how to set those if you don't know what you're doing. The original C3 actually has just standard or several standard shutter speeds, and that is probably more like what I would want anyway. And these both have the 50mm lens on them. I'm going to be interested to see which one of these lenses is actually in better shape. I'd imagine the newer camera has better performance, physics-wise, or I mean mechanically and whatever, should be cleaner. But I could be wrong. One thing I'm going to do on the stream actually is open these suckers up and do a nice clean lube and adjust on them, clad them, because this is actually a very, very easy camera to service yourself. That's actually some of the allure for me about this camera is that 100% mechanical. There's no electronics. It's built like a tank. And it's super easy to open these up and do almost every type of servicing you would need. Clean lube. So I hope to do that on a stream. Might open it, or I don't know. I was like, should I open one up, play around, and make sure I'm gonna be able to do anything before I try to live stream it? Or is it gonna be fun to look like a fool and try to open it up and then realize that it's way too complicated? I don't know. I'll see. I'm probably gonna want to do both these. Anyway, that's really fun. So, if you're interested in this kind of stuff, we're gonna do a lot with that. But that is all that was for that. Again, keep following. If you're interested in this stuff, I will do a lot with that. I mean, I have a whole bundle of things I can talk about with that. So it's a whole can of worms. Not going to deal with it right now. Again, we are going to do a bubble wrap stream where we just pop bubble wrap. It's pretty much as good as a hot tub stream, as far as I know, in terms of popularity, in terms of the tips you can get, in terms of the sweet monetary compensations, from what I understand. Exactly. Failure can be fun. Yeah, that's part of it. It's like, I don't care if, I care obviously, but like I've been humiliated as bad as it could possibly be. There's nothing else you can do. That's one reason why this is working, me doing live streaming. It's like, you can't humiliate me any more than I have been. So I'm good. I'm set. Now we're gonna do some photo editing. This is the main purpose of these streams, the Right with Light episode streams. These are gonna be bubble wrap stream. Yeah, I know, hot tub stream. I could do a bubble wrap hot tub stream. Let's throw those bubble wrap hot tub photography stream. Why not? But the main purpose of these is going to be editing photos, or at least for now, editing these photos, talking about why I took them and the day and all that, you know, what the story behind the photos, things like that, the tech side of the photos, something I mean to get into. If you do want to help support the channel, eventually, I will have links to a lot of the gear that I'm using in these shoots, talking about the gear I use, and then you could buy, if you buy from the link, they're all going to be affiliate links. And they should help out the channel. So I don't have any of that ready yet, but if this is in the future, you're watching this from the future, keep an eye on my webpage, palmosahinton.com, which it should be still, even if this is a future stream, it'll most likely always be palmosahinton.com. Although we also have prosnapcameraclub.com, which we're going to do something with, but there's nothing there right now. Eventually you'll be able to see lists of the gear I use, especially lists of the gear I use for these photo shoots. A lot of the stuff I'm going to be talking about is old school gear, because a lot of the photos I'm going to edit on this are going to be older photos. Today I have something, it's a new shoot, something new that I shot with my new camera, which I'll get to in a second. Today I plays, oh dude, yeah, Breath of the Wild is awesome. And yeah, oh dude, you're actually reminding me, I can play that game. Mike, thank you. So yeah, Breath of the Wild is definitely one of the better games I ever played. I played the crap out of it on regular mode, and then I did the master mode, or make myself look like a fool. Master Quest mode, is that what they called it in that? Master Quest is from the other games. The hard mode, which was a lot of fun to do. Yeah, I should, yeah, maybe we'll do that. We'll do some Zelda photo streams. That was actually one of my favorite things about that game, was they give you literally, there's an entire collection of photos that you have to take of every single item in the game, the NPCs in the game that you have to photograph, the bosses that you have to photograph. So much cool stuff. The weapons, I had a really fun time every time I get a new weapon, throwing it on the ground just to take a picture of it and then picking it back up. Yeah, it's a good one. Master Cycle Zero, no, because I haven't gotten to the expansions yet. Don't push me, man. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get to that eventually. So, without further ado, let's get some photoshopping going. Let's do some Photoshop. Why not? Also, I point this out every stream. This is so version 1.0. It's not even funny. I mean, again, that black and white, you know, that's version 1. If I'm in black and white, it's version 1. Everything, I mean, this is the basic backdrop. We got the darkroom, the enlarger, awesome shelving, which will be much cleaner and better. A lot of photo related stuff up there. And each one of those items, I have a lot of cool stuff to talk about with every single one of these things. So just keep that in mind. We're just getting started here. You know, relax. We're all gonna relax. Yeah. So, but this is the first time we've done a Right with Light episode, in the studio here. So that's cool. In the dark room, enlightening your world from the dark room. Photo shoot I have today. I had a beautiful day with my buddy MWO Sound, good friend of mine. You'll probably see him pop up on the streams every once in a while. He might come in and say hi every once in a while. Good friend of mine, good person. And I went with him to Venice Beach. It was the first time I had been to the beach in like a year and a half or whatever, since I've been not doing anything, you know, pandemic and all. So we went to this awesome little taco stand. It's great. No one wearing masks. It was sweet. And then, okay, this photo, none of these are just the snapshots from the day. It won't be like this forever. I thought that was really cool. And this guy's obviously just about to take a picture of his daughter or sister, or cousin, or maybe it's, I don't know who that is. I don't know these people, but I really like that neon sign. And I probably, if I really wanted to get a good shot of this, I would have sat here for a while and waited for a good decisive moment to present itself The decisive moment being when all the elements in the frame align and something very special happens. I won't get into that. I'm probably not going to explain that very well, but waiting for just the perfect moment when everything aligns and something very special happens. Like in this case, I was standing here for like 1 minute, and then I saw this family walking up, and I was like, okay, this could be coming right here. And they're waiting for that person to walk right into the frame and just compose themselves perfectly in the frame, and adds just that little bit of extra to the image or whatever, which, I mean, like by itself, this little storefront window would be pretty cool by itself. I mean, just with that, I really found that neon sign interesting. I don't know if they had put it there for COVID or not. But oh yeah, thank you for linking to Mike MWO's Twitch. I can't, there's like a way, I think I have to like earn the ability to like recommend other streams to people. I was trying to find out how you did that. But I don't think I have access to that. I also don't know. I mean, it's an overwhelming, getting used to, I'm a new streamer, new to this. So like every single piece of software that I have to get into is complex and complicated, at least for now, because I don't know what I'm looking at. And I'm probably just missing stuff, but not a big deal. Whatever. I just eventually would love to point out some cool people like MWO that I can share their talents with. Yeah, right. The neon sign. Yeah. And this is just a snapshot. I'm not pointing these out. A lot of this, by the way, the first thing, I add a lot of, crap photos to this just so you guys can get a good idea of like the culling process, so that you can see how the edit goes down, because I don't want to present myself as someone who only takes perfect shots every time. That's not true. No one's like that. So this is, and then just obviously this little anecdotal story of how that just touched me, this little sign. I don't know if it was like that just for COVID, or if somebody, I imagine someone put it there for COVID, but it was just very fitting. And again, this is like one of my first jaunts out into the real world after being isolated for so long. And that just, it was just really powerful message on there. And then, we walked down to the beach, and of course there's a drum circle. A lot of people just hanging out, no masks, nowhere near 6 feet apart. It's fine. It's cool. It was great. I didn't go over there. But I took a photo of it. And then actually what the first thing I saw when we were walking down to the water was this little boat just sailing across. And this is actually the image I actually came down to capture, that I saw presenting itself in front of me, that I wanted to capture. And we walked down to the water, and I was, again, kind of waiting for the decisive moment. I shot a bunch of shots of this little boat. I only put 2 in here just to, again, demonstrate that this is actually the image I went down to capture. And I would edit it up. Maybe I'll edit one of those up a little bit. I really wish I knew what... There's a little star over there. It's either a star or a planet or something. I don't know. I wish I knew. I should know, but I don't. And that it's just such a beautiful little image. I wasn't too thrilled with it. I didn't get it quite as well as I wanted to. But as we went down there, then another image kind of presented itself. Came into fruition here for us. As I was walking out, I see this person just walk down to the water. This person right here. They walked down to the water, and then that gave me, quite a impression. And so then this ended up being the image I shot. I always shoot in brackets. Exposure bracket. And if not exposure bracket, at least a burst. I mean, there's no reason not to these days. And exposure brackets, I'm not going to do it here, but especially if you're on a tripod, I mean, you should do it. I do it regardless, because the way merging exposures is growing, or the way that the ability to do that has advanced. I mean, you could do some pretty incredible things with merging exposures, and that just actually increases the, mostly it's for the dynamic range, to compress the range of tones, so you get full range of blacks, full range of whites, and everything in between, because cameras do clip very easily, especially digital cameras clip the highlights very easily. And the shadows get very noisy and grainy and gross. Thank you, bro. Thanks, Johnny. Um, not done yet. This is just we're just getting started. I barely wet my whistle here. I mean, you saw the picture, but I'm gonna edit it. And then at the end, there's this beautiful little this little couple, beautiful little couple sitting here watching the sunset together. But this is the image that I ended up really enjoying the most that day, and so this is actually going to be the one that we're going to edit. And again, I shoot in brackets, always shoot in brackets. Yes, Mike, thank you. It's going to be better. This is not even. I have so many plans. We're gonna do some photo shoots on the stream. Currently, all I can do is like small product type photography, but I'm setting up a little like product, small macro, small item studio backdrop thing that we can shoot and have all this really cool stuff. I mean, probably one of the first things I'm gonna take a sweet little picture of is this camera and do like a before and after, because again, I am gonna customize it, which is pretty cool. I wish the guy that does these custom camera stuff, I think I found his Instagram, but he doesn't have anything on there. If this is like way in the future, Instagram was a social media of sorts at a certain time. Oh, you might not have social media then either. Forget about it. But I couldn't find the guy because I wanted to share some of the stuff, but I'll get to that eventually. So anyways, again, I shoot in brackets. Always shoot in brackets. A wise man once said, always shoot in brackets. And so we have 3 shots here, 3 different moments of time, and 3 different exposures. I mainly shoot, again, intentionally in this way, on this day at least, 3 bracket exposures, so I can combine them later and increase the dynamic range or increase the range of tones that I have in the image. But I'm only going to use one of these here because there's so much movement in the frame. Combining these into an HDR image is probably not going to work very well, although it has been getting a lot better. But I also happen to know that this brightest exposure works really well. First of all, the pose that the person has is preferable to me. I like in this brightest image the way their feet are slightly separated. They're taking a small step, and that adds a little bit of movement to the frame. That movement is very important. To add some dynamics to the image, in my opinion. Not always the case. You don't always need that, and your taste can be different. Each image can be completely different. Game photo shoots with cameras in games. Yes, I mean that's the whole. That's like the shtick of my thing is like I'm only going to be doing, or for the most part, because I have played other games, but if you look back at some of the older stuff we have done, like I did a Spelunky camera run, which I bragged about it being the first time someone beat the whole game only using the camera. I don't know if that was true. I was just trying to, I don't know, impress somebody, I guess. But mainly I've been doing photos in my favorite game, Fallout 76. It's the best game ever made, and no one can deny it. So on Friday we did what I call photography, which is, you can look up what photography is. I won't get into that, but kind of a fitting term to use for what I'm doing. But yeah, we do in-game photography. Zelda, again, you mentioned Zelda. I have a whole list, and I can't believe I didn't remember Zelda because I really enjoyed the photos that I got. And in fact, I probably saw some I could share that I still have to work in some Paul facts. I know. I just don't want to be too mislead. I don't know. Yes. Definitely fit in some Paul facts in here. Not right now though. Paul facts, if you don't know, are not facts. These are like Mr. Handy quotes or whatever almost. I don't know. Anyway, again, shooting in brackets. Always shoot in brackets, whether it's a burst of the same exposure, which will, give you at least a couple slices of that moment, so you can pick and choose. Sports photographers shoot in, they're just I mean, like, if you know anything about sports photography, high shutter speed or, high frame rate photography. It's like standard because like you need that very, very uh, specific moment, right when the football player's reaching up and the ball just hitting his hand while someone's coming in and tackling from the back or something. Like those moments are like near impossible to get in like a single frame. Um, Although, I mean, obviously back in the day, you can practice. Obviously, some people are better than others at it, but when it's your job and it's a profession, you gotta like lay down just put that ego aside and be like, okay, yes, I know I can capture decisive moments and take one photo and it'll be perfect by itself, but I also don't want to mess this up for my client. So I'm gonna shoot in brackets and make sure I have that one image. It's very important. Completely different. The business side of how you shoot can be completely different than the creative side of how you shoot. And when you're on a job, at least in my experience from how I shoot, I definitely shoot in a different way to protect the client, rather than how I'm going to go shoot when I just go out for a walk and shoot something. Completely different styles, completely different mentalities. So I only do, again, 3 bracket exposure brackets on this shot. Super simple. And again, I can't combine them. What I would do, and I will do on another stream, is actually do some HDR combination photo merging in Photoshop because it does such a beautiful job. But subjects like this are probably not the best time to do it because there's a lot of motion in the frame. I was handheld. I was not on a tripod, which is my preferred method of shooting. But when you're walking around doing street photography, you don't really bring a tripod. Plus, it's illegal to put a tripod on the ground unless you have a permit, especially in LA. Do not put tripods down on the ground on the sidewalk in LA. Bad idea. No bueno. So anyway, I like the pose this person has in this brightest frame. Little bit of a step, a little bit of motion, whereas in these other darker frames, they're very static. Both feet together. Again, it probably, I would have been happy with it if that's the only pose that I got. And I also kind of like the wave structure, the way the waves are not quite yet breaking here. They have a very smooth roll to them that's very pleasant compared to the breaking waves of these latter images. I think there's something about the serenity of this image, this single person standing out enjoying the sunset on the beach, something I've done many times in my life, and I'm sure a lot of you have done many times in your life. And that subtle roll to the waves actually fits that vibe a lot better than crashing waves, in this particular image. That's we know we got that one chosen. We're definitely gonna do that one. So open that up in Adobe Camera Raw, my preferred editor. Let's see, where does my image pop up? Okay, I'm up there. Beautiful, man. It's gonna be dang beautiful. And the first thing I noticed right off the bat is it's highly overexposed, which is actually good. In this case, because I know and I checked before I came on the stream, but there's plenty of highlight information, so I can pull back all the detail in that bright area of the sky. I was afraid that I was not going to be able to bring back the detail, and then I was going to have to go with one of those other images, but that wasn't the case. It ended up perfectly exposed, and actually pulling down a digital image is preferable because that actually leads to a lot less digital artifacts. Pushing the digital image adds noise, it adds grain, it can add some really weird digital artifacts that do not look good. Pulling the image down should actually reduce the noise and reduce the grain and actually make a much cleaner looking image. Although noise and grain, for what we're going to do with this image, which is simply just going to be putting it up on Instagram or social media, no one would probably notice the grain anyway. And I have some great examples of photos that have a crap load of grain. But once you bring it down to web size, you can't tell. It's fine for Instagram use or whatever. You're just not going to want to print it because printing also seems to accentuate a lot of that grain. So one step less or whatever. So let's bring it. So again, I know that image. I know there's plenty of plenty of highlight information. So I'm just going to bring the highlights down. Let's boost the shadows just a little bit. I actually don't mind. I like almost that this this bottom corner is almost completely black. Actually, that looks kind of impressionistic and cool once I brought down the exposure like that. But I do want some areas of the image that have shadow to have some detail. So let's do like a 25 boost to the shadows. Highlights are down all the way again because that was the main, that was the bad part of the image, was that really bright skyline. So that was quickly fixed with the highlights. And maybe just boost the total exposure a little bit. My keyboard's in such a weird place, by the way. I have my keyboard's over here. My mouse is here. I gotta, again, this is all such a work in progress. But you know what, you know, why not, you know? So that looks pretty good. And also my monitor's in a weird spot. I gotta, you know, this whole thing, man. So much to change, believe me. Yeah, that exposure looks okay. Looking at the histogram, the histogram looks a little healthy. Actually looks like there's very little highlights anywhere near the clipping point. So actually, you know what? We'll actually back off on that highlight reduction just a little bit. No, that's okay for now. Maybe boost the exposure and then add some contrast, some overall contrast. And that's already starting to look very healthy. Very healthy. Healthy and beautiful. Look at this pissin'. This pissin's a pissin'. I'm a pissin'. You're a pissin'. This pissin's a pissin'. And they're hanging out on the beach. So serene. I gotta go do that. I didn't get a chance to do that this day, I don't think. I didn't really go down just to relax on the water. Something to do by yourself, I think, is go check the water. Check how the temperature feels. Just relax. Be fun if it was like, Paul's stream ended 10 minutes ago and he's been ranting because it just automatically cut me. Ooh, I also forgot to plug in my Ethernet cable. Ooh, we're gonna see how this goes. I just realized that I'm only on Wi-Fi. Eesh. Is my connection okay? Can you guys, am I like jittery and like slow and like stuttery and stuff? I can't really tell on my, I do have my stream up on here on the stream manager on Streamlabs, but I can't tell. You guys seem to be doing okay. Yeah. Anybody sound off there? Am I doing all right? You looking, oh, thank you, Paxmore. Welcome to the party. Sweet. Yeah, it might be slow. It might be slow. I just realized that. I feel so foolish now. I switch. I don't have enough Ethernet ports on my Ethernet splitter, which I already needed a splitter, and then that splitter is going into several different things. So I have to switch my HDMI, my Ethernet from one of the outputs and plug into the computer here because I don't need this connected to my Ethernet very often. I only do it when I really need it to be as fast as possible, like if I'm uploading stuff, downloading stuff, updating the computer, or in this case, editing photos on a stream because I want, I need this stream to go through quickly. So I don't know. This is a good test though. I guess we'll see how well it goes. I'm looking at the little Wi-Fi bars. I got 2 out of 3, so I guess that's good enough for Twitch. Anyway, this is looking really healthy. Image is looking really healthy, and all we've done is some basic exposure adjustments and a little bit of a contrast adjustment. So I think we're already on set for a very healthy image here. And again, all this exposure stuff, we brought everything down, which is going to lead to a lot cleaner of an image than if we had to push the image anywhere any further, expose it any brighter. So exposure looks good. We'll leave it there right now. Histogram looks good. Actually, I probably brighten it just a little bit and add just a tiny bit more contrast. Why not? Why not? I'm not driving. So next big thing that jumps out at me is the horizon line. The horizon line is definitely not level, although in this situation, it's very hard to tell because we're not actually looking straight out at the water at the actual horizon. We're kind of looking down the coast, and I found in images where you're looking down the coast, up or down the coast, um, a perfectly level horizon doesn't always, like, if it's actually bubbled up in terms of your position, your camera position, sometimes it's still because you're looking down or up the coast, the actual horizon line will go one way or the other, and then I kind of cheat it a little bit to just make that horizon level, horizon line perfectly level, which, so for this one, um, I might have shot it and it might have been perfectly level. I don't think so, but I would still come in and do a little bit of a leveling adjustment to get it feeling right in turn to my eye, rather than the actual bubble level. So, and like, yeah, I mean, I can tell just by doing this little adjustment, it's going to look a lot better in terms of how it feels level. So let's make the actual water line as straight as it can possibly be, or as level as it can possibly be, and then we're going to look from there and see if that feels level. Because again, I don't think keeping the water line perfectly straight, I don't think that's actually going to be like really level. But it does feel, because that is what at least my eye is drawn to in terms of when I'm trying to figure out if it's perfectly level or not. That's where my eye goes to, the horizon line. And if it's slanted or canted at all, it's not going to feel level. And that's the most important thing. So I think that did a pretty good job. Just getting that water line perfectly straight across the frame made it feel a lot better, a lot cleaner, a lot healthier to me. And that's already, again, looking real nice. So now the next thing that's really jumping out at me is there's some of these distracting lights over here. Look at that coma. These like sharp wings popping out from these highlights. I'm pretty damn sure that's a aberration called coma, and I'm not going to get into trying to explain that, make myself look like a foolish fool. Needless to say, lenses can be designed to specifically reduce coma or not, depending on what they're built for. A lot of astronomy lenses are built for reducing coma, because if you're shooting stars, pinpoint light sources like this are where you see this artifact, these little sharp wings coming out, especially towards the edge of the frame there. You can see these ones over here, although these are probably not as bright. They show it a little bit, but they don't display it quite as greatly as those highlights on the edge of the frame. So those are kind of distracting. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to crop up. We have also this big black area of negative space down here that's not necessary. It doesn't bother me. Like I said, I actually like the way that it falls off to complete black like that. But just to help us out on that other edge, let's crop out those really bright light sources. Something like that. And I'll bring it down just a little bit, just to put that person kind of closer to that third line level, rule of thirds grid line there, which, I'm not going to get into the rule of thirds. I feel like I talk about that every single time. Just look up the rule of thirds, read it for yourself. Don't take it to heart. It's a good example of what can be good, but it's not. It's a suggestion. But okay, boom. Took out those really bright highlights. I don't mind a little bit of this twinkle. This should be, I think that's going to be Malibu. I think that should be part of Malibu over there. Santa Monica Pier is just to the right. I just cut this, and some of those other images, in fact, Going back to them really quick. Looking down, you can just see Santa Monica Pier over here with the beautiful Ferris wheel. And so I don't know if that would technically be, is that still Santa Monica, or I think that should be into Malibu now. My geography. You guys are like, it's San Diego. No, it's not San Diego, but I'm just saying. That's why I try not to put facts in there because I'm making myself look like a fool. But regardless, I don't mind that little bit of those highlights there. They don't bother me. They're not really popping out at me anymore like those other ones with the artifacting, the coma. It didn't look too good. Which, by the way, quick tech specs. And another interesting thing about this is going to be the first time I've shared an image that I shot with my new, well, I did also get this awesome Argus C3 that's like a, 7 decades old or whatever. I did also recently get my Canon R5, which I love this camera. It's absolutely beautiful, which we shot this image with, and then I also shot with the lens that's on here, 35 1.8 IS macro. Such a great lens. Holy doobies. Like, this is like value for money. This has got to be the best lens in the RF system so far. I mean, depending on what you like. The 85 to 2.0 macro is also just like muy bueno, but like this one, better for walking around. 35 millimeters, a lot of people's favorite focal lengths. It's definitely one of mine. This lens stays on my camera so much. I mean, I shoot. It's like I'm like, why did I buy anything else? I could just keep this, which you could. A lot of people could probably make an entire career with, any camera and any 35 millimeter lens. It's a great focal length. And it was the lens that I chose to go with on this day. And then again, interesting. This is going to be the first image I shared with my that I've shot with my R5. Such an amazing camera. Best camera I've owned, but like you can say that about any camera you buy if it's new, right? So I won't brag about that, but it is at the same time the best camera I've ever owned. Such an amazing camera. Go out and buy one and do it from my link. Get affiliate links, which again, eventually I will have that up and you'll be able to buy from my links if you want to support the channel. That's probably my preferred way. I also have a Patreon. If you want to check out the Patreon, Paul Mosley Hanton Patreon, same as my Twitch name, same as the YouTube, same as the Instagram. And if you want to support the channel, I'd actually, that eventually will be my preferred way of people supporting it, because I like the idea of somebody getting something from what they're paying for. As much as I love the donation scheme, the donation algorithm, doesn't make any sense. Which is great, and like, I very much appreciate it. Patreon is cooler, and like, eventually, I think what's bothering me about my Patreon is currently I don't have much to offer my patrons. Which that is going to change as well. I mean, I think on the last Right with Light episode, I did do a photo print giveaway. So that's the kind of cool stuff I can do. But again, I don't know. I like the idea of when you watch the stream, you like the photo or whatever, and you're like, oh, that lens sounds cool. And, oh, well, I'll just tip him $2. It's like, no, if you like that lens, buy it from my link. I'll get a little bit of money. The seller will get a little bit of money. You get some cool gear to play with, especially camera stuff. I mean, another big purpose of this stream, I would absolutely love to encourage people to take pictures. Go out there and shoot. It's very healthy for you, very good for you to do. Shoot more. If that's kind of one of my main things I would want to impart, is inspiring people to go out and shoot, take pictures, have fun, capture your life. A lot of time you don't realize, like, you're shooting these things, or you're out shooting or whatever, and you take a picture and you think it's just some stupid snapshot of your friend or whatever it is. And then like later you realize how special, like maybe it was the last time you saw that person and they go off to college or something, and you don't see that person for like 10 years and you have this one image, and then you realize how special it can be. Photography is great, and it doesn't, honestly, like keeping, especially digital images, very inexpensive to capturing catalog digital imagery these days. So get out there and shoot. Everyone should get out there and shoot. And again, if you're buying, if I encourage people, if gear gets you out there shooting, good. Buy some gear that's going to push you to go out and shoot some cool photos, which again, if you like what I'm doing here, you can buy the same gear and you can capture the same type of image maybe. But don't copy me. Don't copy me. I'm just kidding. You can copy me. This image, this is like so derivative. I mean, like I've probably seen like something like this a million times, but whatever. And I've shot many images similar to this, but this day was special to me. This moment was special to me. This moment is unique in its own way. So, pretty cool. And we're like almost, I'm like trying to like draw this out. I'm not trying to draw it out, but there's not that much to do with this image. I mean, it honestly, the color is beautiful. Beautiful sunset, beautiful moment in time. That being said, actually about the color, let's actually mess with the color temperature a little bit. It looks pretty good, 5200 Kelvin. But what I go for in an image like this when I'm messing with the color temperature is trying to get the widest range of color tones out of everything and make the most beautiful looking color gradient to that sky, because there's a lot of negative space in the sky. And so you ideally would want a nice color grade to add a little something. I think the last shot we did was a very similar seascape type shot, which I love the ocean. One thing about this image, it's, or pictures of the ocean in general, I really love the ocean going down there. Patreon is for sure a better way to go. Okay. Well, yeah. We'll talk about it. Throwing me off here, bruh. Just kidding. Please comment. I love it when people comment, and I love to hear what everyone has to say. So go ahead. But I try to get a good color gradient, because if there's a lot of negative space in the sky, at least having that interesting color gradient can add some other elements that are interesting to the frame. So, yeah, I'd say, 52 is looking pretty good. You get that warm glow right in the center, and that's kind of radiating out up into that cool blue of the sunset. Absolutely beautiful. And tint-wise, what were we at? Is that plus 12? Magenta. Not that. That's not bad. I'll just keep it at 12. I mean, again, I believe I shot that on auto white balance. I always shoot raw. Always shoot raw if you want to. I am commenting, yes. Always shoot raw. And I won't get into why right now. It's probably something for another time, but I always shoot raw. I actually always shoot raw plus JPEG. And raw is going to give you the most amount of latitude grading, color grading wise, the most you can do with the exposure adjustments, color adjustments, all that good stuff. It retains the most amount of information, and it will yield the highest quality results if you're going to be editing. So always shoot raw. Why wouldn't you shoot raw? Because some people don't want to deal with how complicated it is dealing with this kind of stuff. That's fine too. I would never, if someone's like, I only shoot JPEG, which I have friends that say that, and I always try to encourage them to shoot raw anyway, but I don't give them shit for it. I just say, hey, you might want to consider, this versus that. You might want to, kill them with kindness. So let's do some local adjustments. 2 local adjustments I know I'm going to want to make. Here is going to be one, the sky. Just going to bring down the center area of the sunset here. It's blowing out maybe just a little bit more than I want it to. It's really not that bad, but I'm just going to do one slam of a localized adjustment there to bring down the highlights. And yeah, again, I'll just use, well, actually, you know what I'll do 15 highlight, and then we'll just do the overall exposure down just a little bit, just to even things out. And then let's go back to our regular adjustment and actually just increase the overall exposure a little bit, because then that allows me to bring that up totally. And that looks pretty nice. And then I know that I ideally, this person is a little bit stacked up on a dark tone. They are I mean they are basically in full silhouette almost. But they do not have a very bright image object behind them. I mean, it's not bad, but they don't stand out all that much compared to when the image was completely overexposed and they stayed separated from the background a little bit better. So I'm going to just do a paint, just this little strip right there all the way down to hide it a little bit better. And then we're actually going to increase the exposure down there just to allow for a little bit more separation between them and the background. And then let's actually pop on the mask so we see the area that we're affecting. Also, another thing about these, I don't consider these tutorials in any way. I consider you're just watching my process, so do not take these as like the hard, fast way you have to do anything. I would never say that. This is art. This is creativity. This is not something that there's hard, fast rules in any of this stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, you can say, you could say like, this is properly exposed at 18% gray. Yeah, you can say that. Those are the technical things you could probably be pretty hard about in photography, but the creative side, the creative choices, super subjective, extremely subjective. And if it's your artwork, do it the way you want to do it. Bottom line. So I want to take away. See again, this is like some good like exercise in keyboard yoga. Is that a thing? Let's make that a thing. We're gonna take that away, confiscate it, take it away from over here. Ooh, you know what? I want that to be feathered more. Because I actually don't mind. I like that's almost, clipped to black down at the bottom there. That's fine. We don't really need it over here as much. I kind of just did a line like that because that's how the natural, the light is kind of, there's like the strips going through, the waves are creating the strips. The water, the wet part of the sand is creating a strip. So I kind of made that selected area into a full strip because then that should blend it better with the texture that's already there. And we don't need it on these mountains or this area of the water. Again, we're just kind of, but I'm keeping it all the way through just so that increase in exposure doesn't look too odd. But I am going to back it off a bit. Back off just a little bit. Very soft. The more feathered any kind of adjustment is, the more natural it's going to look. Feathering is very important. I actually have like a whole thing about feathering, just like in general. Feather everything. Mi hermanas. Okay, so 1.6, that looks pretty good. And that should give it just a little bit more separation from, well, actually, you know what I'm going to do? Hang on, let's go back to that adjustment. Let's go back there. So I did brighten the exposure. I know that I want the shadows to actually remain pretty dark. Or actually, well, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll bring down the shadows. I'll bring the shadows down a tiny bit. We did the overall exposure plus 1.6. Little bit of shadows brought down. And then actually I'm going to boost the highlights because that should only affect the area behind, and it's probably hard. Let me do, if you see me pump that slider, you can kind of see the wave area behind this. Whoops. You can kind of see the wave area behind the subject kind of getting a little bit brighter because the highlight slider should only affect those highlight areas behind them. Again, the main subject is a complete silhouette, so that should be perfectly in shadow and should not be affected by the highlight area of the image or adjusting the highlight area of the image. So that looks pretty good, I got to say. I mean, you know, pretty nice. And talking, okay, we went over the color a little bit. Actually, I should go top down with this. I just forget where I get, I just look at the images like, oh, I see that first, let's go there first. But it's actually probably a good idea to go like top down on these adjustments, and that keeps me a little bit better organized. But right now it's just doing the Adobe color profile. Let's do landscape profile. Boom. It's going to accentuate a lot of those beautiful colors. Again, when you shoot raw, difference between shooting raw and JPEG. One big difference. JPEG, the color and everything is baked in and chosen for you. The color profile, the color science that the camera manufacturer wants is going to be baked in. And when you shoot raw, you actually get to choose that. So it is a lot more work. Again, that's one reason why I've heard people say they don't want to deal with it, is it is quite a bit more work to do. You have to choose the color, you have to choose the contrast, you have to choose all these adjustments yourself, or at least let the raw application, the raw plugin, in this case Adobe Camera Raw is what I'm using, but you could be using Lightroom, which I believe if you're using Lightroom, I'm not a big Lightroom guy, but pretty sure you basically still edit in Adobe Camera Raw, I think, or you can open it in Adobe Camera Raw. But you choose these metrics for it, which I like that control. One thing, make this photo an NFT. Yeah, there's not, I mean, maybe not this one, maybe all of them eventually, but like, I don't know. Yeah, I know all about the NFT stuff, and I talked to some people. I talked to my manager about it a little bit. Probably not right now, but maybe eventually. I don't know. We'll see how that game goes. I will take any stock options if you want to buy with stock options. Happy to take some stocks off your hands, which is another fun way of trading art. There's stock options. Okay, and I'm actually seeing a lot of detail in that sand, which isn't bad. I actually think, though, I did like maybe too much shadow boosting. I think I can just pull down the shadows. I'll do +5. Boost the total exposure a little bit more, which should increase. I just probably increase the contrast, basically. Let's do a little bit. Actually, I'm going to change this a little. This selective exposure adjustment, I'm actually going to take a little bit of it away from down here. Just brush that out on that side, because it's the opposite of what we were doing with that highlight increase on that last selective adjustment. So I know I don't really want to do that down here on that one. So let's get rid of that. Bam. And we're just going to bring down the highlights a little bit more. Do a 40. And then maybe just tiny bit of the overall. Just to get that a little bit more, Odell. Just got me. Ooh. Goodness, this is looking very healthy. Yes. Yes. Look at that person. Looks like they're wearing glasses with a bun. Their hair's in a bun. And they're wearing glasses. Can't beat that. Buy that for $1. 30 dodge. Yeah, dude. Take it. I'll take it. Yeah, man, that's looking pretty nice. I gotta say, I don't know what else I would do to that. Again, here's a possibly a planet or a star. Look at that little guy. Look at that little sucker. Obviously, if you know anything, that is undiscovered worlds. If there's any other stars, that's undiscovered worlds. And I don't think any of the other planets have come out yet. So we just got undiscovered worlds. Oh, here's one. That is I don't think that's a planet. I'm pretty sure that's definitely a UFO. I think. Anyway, that's cool. Got a couple bright objects in there. Those probably are not going to come out when it's, because I mean you're going to see it like, you know, it's going to be like that big on Instagram or whatever. Not gonna see it there. Not gonna see it. Whoa. Cancel and dismiss. No, sorry. That scares me. I can accidentally hit that. Actually, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hit done. That's actually the scary thing about Adobe Camera Raw, and I wonder if there's an option to change that. Wait, what? Oh, wait. So silly, Paul. You clicked on the wrong one. You silly little person. If you're editing and anything, like I've definitely had Adobe Camera Raw crash and then I lose. I mean, honestly, if I wasn't ranting at you guys about all this, I would probably get this done in like 10 minutes. So it really wouldn't be that much work lost, but still would have been frustrating. Especially if I had just canceled it now and had to redo it again on the stream. Although that would have been funny. You guys could have, like, poked fun at me and stuff. Like, just poked. Would have been fun. So, actually, looking at it small like that, I think the bright area behind this subject might have gotten a little bit extreme. I can see it too much. I can feel it. Or I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe not. Yeah, well, I'll just back off that a little bit, just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. I love the little clouds rolling in on the left side. There's just the mist, just fog layer just above the sea level there, with the mountains just popping through those. Very nice. Actually, in all honesty, I probably would crop this into a more of a panoramic, which it's like, I don't know why I wouldn't, I guess. Why not? Let's do it. I think, okay, so actually I know why I wouldn't do that. So for a while, bigger than a tube, you wouldn't want to put it in a tube. I originally, when I first started posting stuff on the interwebs here, or Instagram specifically, I was very caught up in like every picture has to maintain the exact same aspect ratio to maintain consistency throughout the whole thing. Like, if I'm doing square images, they're all going to be square. And if I'm doing landscape, they're all going to be landscape. Or if they're portrait, they're all going to be portrait. And they're all going to be 16:9, or they're all going to be 4:3, or they're all going to be 5:6, or whatever, whatever aspect ratio. I was like trying to decide which one I would choose. And I've gone back and forth in the history of my photography. I've gone back and forth in my aspect ratio desires and how I like the images to look in what aspect ratio. There's a huge time when I'd crop everything to 240 or 2351, which is widescreen, cinema widescreen format, which I absolutely love, which this image would actually be. Do I still have my custom? No, I don't. Oh, no, I don't. Oh, yeah, I do. 241. Okay. So I was like, this, something like that. That is probably more like what I would want this to look like. I don't think I've cropped anything to 241 and posted it on Instagram. And again, maybe that's, I mean, let me go to my audience here. Is it silly to try to maintain a consistency in the aspect ratio? What do you guys think? Go ahead. Uh-huh. Right. Hang on, just give me a minute. Give me a minute to scroll through all these comments. Oh yeah. Oh. Whoa, okay, I'm getting overwhelmed. Hang on. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, right, exactly. Like for each image, that's always been my concept. Like each image, honestly, and again, back in the day, I wouldn't even try to maintain like a real like I wouldn't do like 2-3 or 4-6 or 5-6 or 5-7. I would never crop. I would just crop, and it would like be weird aspect ratios, like 3.5 to 5 or something like a really weird middle of like, because I wouldn't even consider it being an actual aspect ratio. And I remember at a certain point I was like, man, my aspect ratios are all just like jumping from one, like, and it just felt very inconsistent. And so I think now, at least, right, if there's a series, yeah, Gary's saying if there's a series, it makes more sense to keep them consistent, which I think is absolutely true. If they're all displayed in tandem, in conjunction with each other, I think it's probably right to keep them all maintain the same thing. But I think on Instagram specifically, or social media, posting to social media specifically, I don't think it really makes a difference. I mean, I pop, and we're going to do that in a second. I pop all the images into a white square, and so that they're all maintaining at least a white square frame. And there's a couple of reasons I do that. I do like a white frame around the image. That's my personal preference on how it's presented, a white background, or at least for most images. But they, them changing within that white frame, the aspect ratio changing within that white square, I don't think that's that big of a deal. And I'm pretty sure I've cropped some to 16:9. So I'm going to actually just do, I mean, I don't mind that widescreen look. Again, I mean, I used to crop everything. I used to like go out of my freaking way to crop everything to a 2:4:1, or 2:3:5, 2:4:1 aspect ratio. But I kind of lost that. I kind of lost my dinosaur. No, I'm just kidding. But don't lose your dinosaur. That being said, I don't think I want it to be that extreme of a widescreen. 16:9. I like 16:9. It's, everyone loves 16:9. It's your phone aspect ratio, most likely. It's your TV's aspect ratio, most likely. It's a little bit wider than what I shot in, which would have been, pretty sure it was 4:3. It was 4:3, right? Am I being silly? Whatever. A little bit wider of an aspect ratio than what we originally shot it in. So it will give us a little bit wider of a frame, which again, I do think that fits. That's very fitting for this image. A little bit wider of an aspect ratio. Just getting that crop positioned properly. Man, yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Again, we got the Adobe Landscape Profile, coloring. I think we're pretty good. I mean, there's really not that much else I would want to do. Yeah. Working on some photos, low base. This is just a simple sunset image. We're actually getting close to the end of the edit, so we're almost done. Actually, if you guys notice anything, if anybody knows anything that you think should be changed, please let me know. Let me know what you guys think and see. But basically, very serene sunset seascape shot. Went over how much I love the ocean. Actually, we didn't really talk about that too much. Really love the ocean. I grew up in the Malibu area, and going to the beach has been a very important part of life for me. Very relaxing, very serene. It's like it recharges you. You know, one of my friends has something on there, a little thing hanging on their wall. It says like the ocean heals everything, and it's like true. It feels really good to go to the beach, just take a dip. Sometimes the freezing cold, if it's freezing cold, can just shock you into like waking you up or just revitalizing you. Salt water is actually very good for your skin. It's really good for your body. Read about that yourself, but it super healthy to go to the beach. And so like you would never find me moving to a landlocked state. Like that's just not going to happen. I need the beach. I need to go to the beach every once in a while. I had just moved back. I was living in Long Beach for a while. First time in my life that I could actually walk to the beach regularly and enjoy it. And that was a really great time living there, having that opportunity. Yeah, this image like is like that's what I want to be there. I want to be standing on that beach. Like I said, this was the first time this image came from a shoot. First time I'd been to the beach in at least a year, if not more. Obviously isolated as much as I can. First time I got down to the beach, and just being there was like inspiring itself. And then seeing this person, like I just like I can imagine how this person's feeling, just feeling the water on the bottom of your feet, looking out over this beautiful sunset, looking out over the beautiful ocean, and just taking a minute to relax. Like, gotta do that. Let's see. Let me see. Let's see what we get in the comments here. If you guys are saying anything about the image. Ooh, I like that aperture. Raise a fan. I like this aperture image. That's cool. Read the chat. I know. Okay. So I'm just getting started streaming. Give me a break on the checking out the. Thank you for rating, by the way. I really appreciate this. Rate it up. Yes, I'm trying to get better about catching the comments. I miss it so much. I miss a lot. Yeah, lower right third. We talked about the rule of thirds like a little bit. Love Melbourne. Yeah, I don't know if you're kidding. It's Malibu, but if Melbourne looks like this, I got to get myself to Australia. Oh, dude, yeah, that's a sweet logo. I like that a lot. Photography full time. Yes, which means I'm full time unemployed. Yeah. To an extent, full time. But I mean that's my life's work. But I also do photography, which we do a lot of both, or we will be doing a lot of both on this stream. But yeah, I don't know, full time. I don't know. I guess that sounds extreme, especially now. The past 2 years have been pretty rough. I'm gonna be honest. So that's why I got started doing this. Now I can do this whenever I want. I don't have to wait around for someone to hire me. Done. Plan to stream. Yes, mainly photography. This is definitely a photo stream. If you've caught any of the other streams, I do play Fallout, but in Fallout I do photography. And if you missed the beginning of the stream, one of the first things we did was we actually opened up my new Argus C3 camera, which this is actually the model that they use for the in-game camera in Fallout 76. And I'm going to be doing a bunch of customization to this camera to make it look more similar to the one in the game. There's a lot I have to say about that. And we're going to play around with this on the stream, doing a whole custom camera cover. These things are very easy to clean and lube and adjust yourself, so I can open this up, or plan to open it up on the stream and do some cool stuff. But in-game photography is part of the stream. Editing the photos are definitely going to be part of the stream. This series that I call We Write with Light is mostly going to be talking about the photo process, my idea behind the photo, the situation I was in, my feelings behind it, what went into taking that photo. Hi, Nielsen Memories. Thanks. I appreciate you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I need some confidence here. So, You guys, you people, thank you. Thank you all. Um, Working on it. Working on it. Virtual photographers. Oh, hell yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm new. So forgive me if I have not met anybody, but please, I would love to check out what everyone else is doing. Um, and check out, I don't know, maybe my stuff is silly and you can tell me it's silly and then I'll take it to heart and be really self-conscious about it. Um, but yeah, thanks everybody for jumping in here. I really appreciate it. And thank you. I hope you love the image. It is almost complete. Like I said, we were actually getting down to the end of the edit session, but if you guys see anything, if you tell me, if this looks weird, if something looks weird and you can be constructive about it, let me know. I'm pretty happy with it. I just made the basic adjustments. I try to do as little work as possible. If you can get the image to like 90% in camera, you really just, and then you just make 10% of the adjustment in Photoshop. That's probably my ideal. Everybody who participated in the raid as a photography streamer, you're definitely welcome. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Hard to find everyone that's on Twitch because we don't have a category. Yeah. No categories. Yes, it's weird. There's like the first thing I noticed. Just to go in so you guys just all stream in the art category? Is that the general thing to do? Because that's what I've been doing. Cool. So at least I'm in good company here. Yeah, I can't wait to check out. Like I couldn't find. I think the first time I searched, I couldn't find anybody, and I was like, am I the only person doing this? Like I'm not conceited. I didn't think that, but like I was like, I can't. Like there's got to be. I always think I'm doing something wrong. I'm the one doing something wrong. Just chatting, right? Yeah, my manager, my really good friend, who's the one really pushing me to do this, was saying, yeah, a lot of people are just chatting. So that, I don't know. I guess I'll play around. Maybe one will be better than the other. I'll be interested to see what you people do. Really good to know. Thank you guys. Seriously, like really appreciate you guys being here. It means a lot. In-game photography. Currently, like I said, only done Fallout 76. We did a little bit. No, they didn't push me. I'm sorry. Pushing might sound like the wrong word. Encouraging me to stream. Let me say that. That's probably a better choice of words. I have a friend encouraging me, told me that this is definitely a good place for what I like to do and a good place to show what I do, and aggressively pushing. No push in a negative way. All positivity here. Just encouraging me to do it and telling and building my confidence, telling me I do well, telling me I could do it. Really just being a positive encouragement. PC and a mic and a camera to stream, so might as well. Right, exactly. And I'm kind of bummed. I really should have gotten started with this sooner. I mean, who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of years, but this is, I love this. I actually really enjoy doing it. Oh, thank you. B&W Conversations are very good. Thank you. I started doing more color stuff on Instagram, but black and white. I come from obviously I'm in a dark room. I don't know if you guys could tell or not. This is what was my dark room. I have not printed in here since high school. But here's my Bessler 4x5. I always shot 4x5 back in the day. Even though there's a 35 millimeter negative in here right now. But yeah, I come from a black and white background, and for different photos, black and white is my preference, and different photos, color is my preference. Depends on the image, of course. Like seeing your work and hearing a little about the process. Got a dip. Yeah, thank you for coming. I really appreciate it, Nielsen. I really, really appreciate it. Forcefully encourage you to stream. You guys are just warming my heart here. Wow. Thank you. Wait, let me just emphasize the thank you again. Here's how I'm going to emphasize it. Going into full screen. Thank you for being here. I very much appreciate it. You guys making me happy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, and again, dude, I'm going to have, yeah, this is all the beginning. And like I said, if you missed the beginning, production value activated. Yeah, I can switch from one view to another, man. I'm so advanced. I'm starting small. That was if you had been following the stream, you know, we started with no camera on me, just the Photoshop back. Or in fact, the first time we did it was just in game, and I was just streaming right out of my PlayStation. And then once I realized that I really enjoyed doing this, I was like, I'll put a little bit more money into it, and you know, maybe build this. You know, I renovated this whole space so I could make this into the studio, which is still a work in progress again. Lots to be changed, lots to work on, but one step at a time. Baby steps. Educating, community building, and it's nice. Yes. And I will say this, though, I try to emphasize this. I am not trying to teach, FYI. I'm never going to tell you guys that this is, you got to do it this way, and this is how. I'm just showing you my process and how I do it, my creative process. One thing I did say earlier, though, is if anything I want people to take away from this is to be encouraged to go out and shoot more. I love promoting photography. I'm like a huge photography ambassador. I just want, exactly. It still kind of teaches, of course, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not making claims like I'm doing this the best way or the right way or the only way it has to be done. This is art. It's all very subjective. So I just like to emphasize that. But what I would like to do is encourage people to go out and shoot. And if what I'm doing inspires you to go out and shoot, that would be my main goal. Get out there, take photos, have fun, love your life, enjoy taking pictures, capture those memories. You never know what memory you're going to have that's so important. I have so many anecdotes about that, which I won't go into because I'm not prepared, but you don't realize how special some of these pictures are until you're actually 10 years down the line, 5 years down the line, and you have something really special that, you know, you've kept this whole time. And it does not ban Lowe's base guy. Totally judgmental. Everything I do is the right way. Yeah. All right. You're bad. Just kidding. Right. Exactly. Yeah. But anyway, get out there and shoot. That's my main thing. I think if I could say one thing is like just that I would love to do is inspire people to go out and shoot. Because the people that have inspired me and gotten me to do what I do, again, my buddy who's enjoys the void of it, my buddy that's convincing me or encouraging me to do this, you know, he knows how thankful I am. I hope. Yeah, so just get out there and shoot. That's my main thing that I have to say about it. It's just, I encourage people to take photos. It's very healthy for you. And express yourself and love your life and have fun. And if you do it with photography, that's cool. Do it with video, whatever, you know, you go out and paint, do that too, you know, just express yourself. Enjoy the beauty of this world. As a photographer, I'll say this. I really work to emphasize the beauty of what I see and the beauty of this world. That's like the most important thing to me. I'm not I feel like I barely did anything in this. I mean, this isn't like, I didn't build this landscape or whatever. I didn't pose this person. I just captured a beautiful moment in time. And, I really love to emphasize the beauty of this world and how much beauty there is in it and how much variety of beauty there is. And so that's what's important. That's what's very important to me. We do have a Discord, in fact. I actually don't know how, I don't think I'd know how to link to it on here, and I'm scared to touch anything. I feel like everything's, yeah, there we go. Is that going to be it? Is that going to be it, Gary? No. Paxmore is going to get it. Thank you, Paxmore. Gracias. Are just the sites. Yeah. The links don't work. Yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, obviously follow me on here if you really love what you're seeing and you're enjoying this kind of content. Would really appreciate a follow. That's probably the most. That's what I have been told to ask for the most, is just getting. I would love to make that 50 tier follower deal. When they set you up with those little challenges, and it's like, wow, it feels good to make those challenges. And I see some. I think I probably missed it. If people did follow, I know I've noticed I've gone up. So thank you very much for following. And that's very important, and I really appreciate you guys being here, man. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I don't have. Yeah, I know. There's like no alerts. That's like another. That's gonna be like version 2. Version 2, I'll have like maybe like a custom overlay, and alerts and things popping out of the screen every 2 seconds from every angle, and like, isn't that cool? Stream Elements too, yeah. So I'm Streamlabs. I'm using Streamlabs, and I just got. I was like doing OBS, Studio. Is that what it's called? Yeah, just OBS, and then when I got into it more, then I was encouraged to get Streamlabs a little bit more fully featured and whatnot. And I'm just getting used to that. I mean, I think Friday's stream. One of the streams, it was my first time doing it out of Streamlabs. But yeah, alerts is probably a good. I know everyone's like, why isn't this guy thanking me? I followed. That's so important. Yeah. So sorry if I didn't. If you were waiting to say, like, the first streamer I followed, they gave me a shout out and it felt amazing. So I'm sorry I don't have that ability to do right now. Got to get Nightbot setups and mods before this blows up. I know. Working on one. Baby steps. But yeah, you're low base guy. Yes. Thank you for the advice. Very much appreciated. And I'm always open to advice. I really appreciate anything. Like I said, just getting started here. So, and I hope I'm not like stepping on anybody's toes. One thing I realize is like, I don't want to like stream and like cut other people off and all that stuff. Hardest part of streaming is having the gift of gab. Oh, that actually reminds me of Fallout. So that's especially flattering. There's a perk called Gift of Gab in Fallout 4. I'm a big Fallout guy. In Fallout 4, okay, if you guys play games, Fallout 4, I wanted a camera in the game so bad because Bethesda knows how to build their landscapes, and their engine is beautiful with lighting. Consider a Fallout boy. Yeah. What? Yeah. Games are lame. Be quiet, Gary. You don't know what you're talking about. Gary's joking. We game together. So, but anyway, Fallout 4. That's so flattering. Gift of Gab. Anyway. Fallout 4. There's a perk you get called Gift of Gab if you fully match with Piper's a follower in the game. Won't go into this. This is not the stream to do this. But anyway, thank you. And yeah, I'm a Fallout boy, dude. But Fallout 76, they actually have an in-game camera item. That's why it's so like I actually get to pull the camera up and I have it on my Hot Wheel and all this stuff. It's really cool. If you guys like photography and you like gaming, you might like the Fallout. But I mean, Fallout's. If you like Fallout, which I love that game, and now it pains me to say that because I'm gonna like oust myself as a non-gamer because I like a game or whatever it is, the animosity towards that. Just take pictures all the time. Yeah, I was told Red Dead has some good in-game photography. You gain 5 followers from the raid until you have, so you can watch the stream manager on your phone and you'll see when things happen. Yeah, I mean, I have the stream manager up here, but it just doesn't, like, I'm just not seeing the stuff pop up. And again, also my setup is weird. Like my camera and the light are actually blocking a portion of my screen. Because again, this whole thing, I mean, I'm still renovating, and again, my manager, my confidant, was very encouraging when I was expressing to him that I was like, oh, I'm not going to set my camera up. Not until everything's perfect. This has to be perfect. Everything has to be exactly how I want it to be. Everything has to be set up perfectly. The lighting has to be great. The background has to be perfect. My shelf, which is very important, has to be perfect. Like everything has to be so perfect, right? And then my buddy's like, no, dude, it's actually very fun for the audience to watch the progression happen and see everything, see the step-by-step process, which again, I'm very open about. I now am fully into that concept of every stream, you know, little things can change, little upgrades. Like, again, just getting the camera on me was a huge step, not only for the stream, but like personally, you know, being able to put yourself out there on camera is not an easy thing to do. I'm a photographer because I really prefer to be behind the camera, although I end up on camera a lot too, randomly. Working in Hollywood, you just end up doing stuff on camera. It just happens. But yeah, it's never going to be perfect. Yes, good point, Cliff Creates. Yeah, it's never going to be perfect. But making those small adjustments and then being able to talk about them, I think, is really fun. And having your followers and your audience be able to watch that progression, I think, is a really fun thing to do. Didn't you get your on TV? Oh, that's right. So my buddy Gary Livingston there, great photographer as well. One of my mentors, amazing photographer. Gary, you don't even know how good you are. I think, well, he might know. I don't know. Do you know Gary? You should definitely know because you're amazing. He shoots a lot of hockey, and he was on assignment shooting some of the LA Kings. I think, was it all LA Kings that day on the pier? Are we talking about the shoot on the pier? Didn't we shoot on a pier? Anyway, there was like a news crew there. I mean, I think you're better. Oh, no, Gary, dude. I learned everything I learned from you. But yeah, the TV crew shows up or whatever. And like, I was just assisting. So like, I think the shot of me is like, I'm holding the C stand because I don't think we had like any sandbags, and you had, you know, your whatever, like 2x4 softbox on the strobe, and the wind was just like, not, and I just remember having to stand there and just guard the C stand. Folks have been on Twitch for a while knows it's a process. You seem to have a good personality. Thank you. Oh my gosh. You guys are welcome to come back anytime because you flatter me. You people flatter me. I told myself to try not to say guys too much. You people are so flattering. Holy crap. Yeah. If you could see the color, you would see the blush. Because I'm definitely blushing in red. It's also getting hot in my room. I finally got an air conditioner. If you had been following the stream, you would know that I've not had an air conditioner, and it is very hot. And I finally got a little portable air conditioning unit set up, and I turned it off. I was like, maybe I'll keep it on. More PMH lore, the AC saga. Okay, so I do have a whole video series that I call the quest for the best tripod head, because I have a whole thing about tripod heads and I'm still trying to find the best one. So that's similar. AC Saga, I love that. So anyway, I was like, I shouldn't have can I keep the AC on or off? I'll test that next time. I don't know if there was going to be a lot of hiss and buzz, but I mean, I guess I'm like listening to my computer fan, and if that's not reading, I'm launching the mic and I don't think it's reading, so looking for that too. I do macro and have yet to find a perfect tripod head. Oh, I'm so glad you said that. So yeah, okay. So I'm why not pitch this now? I've literally been designing a tripod head almost specifically for macro stuff. So stay tuned here. That was like way down the road. I do have like a lot of plans. And I do have a couple photo products that I've designed that eventually I'd love to see get off the ground. Maybe that's some big dream stuff. Nodal slider a bit. Yeah. I just got a Rogetti. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Rogetti. I'm gonna do a whole video series on Rogetti. They have a beautiful linear slider that I'm on. Here, wait, I can do this. Well, wait. Let's do this. Production value. And then we're going to get back. I do want to finish up that edit, but I'm on this little slider here. I don't know if you probably can't see it moving as much. It's a macro slider.
I'm really excited about that thing. It's really cool. But I have a whole lot to say about tripod heads. Um, yeah. So right now I'm using what is essentially an Arca Swiss cube. What I have this on. Um, oh man, and yeah, if you have not used gear heads, welcome to the future. I mean, it's like I don't know what kind of tripod. Yeah, this is like all the stuff I was gonna say on again the quest for the best tripod head. And then it's like me swinging like through the like vines on like a like a little vine swinging through the jungle, reaching out at something. I don't know. Same mic, nice. Yes, this again. My buddy that is encouraging me to do all this is the one telling me like you get this mic, do this, do that. I've got credit cards. Why not? Good time to spend some money on credit cards. But yeah, I think this mic's pretty good, right? Everyone says I sound okay. Um, yeah, panos. Oh man, if you like doing panos, well, oh, man, there's so much I could talk about. There's so many things. I'm not prepared to talk about any of this stuff. I mean, I could, but nice and large. Oh yeah, thank you. Like I said, we are in the dark room. I enlighten your world from the dark room is the is the thing. That was the one piece I didn't have for developing gear. Yeah, what sucks about this setup here, which I'll go over, I was like trying to theorize how I would do like a printing stream because I was like, well, I think my camera will be sensitive enough to low light, and I have fast enough lenses to where I could maybe have a camera in with me exposed for the safe light, but I don't. But then I was like, I'm not going to be able to have a monitor in here. I'm not going to be able to see what I'm doing. So that's going to be like someone else is going to have to be in control of like everything outside of the room while it's all closed off. Good night, Rise fan. Raise a fan. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Um, Responsible parent. I like that. Good man. Good person. Good person. Um, but good night. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Wouldn't be an issue if you let me trade. I know. Yeah. Children are worth a lot these days. You can just and buy whatever tripod head you want. Um, yeah, if you want some cool news about tripod heads, if you want some cool info about tripod heads, we'll eventually be talking a lot more about. I do have a whole thing about tripods. I wanted to go over my whole evolution of where I started with tripods, where I wanted to go with tripods, and where I am now, and what I've decided, what I like and what I want. And then obviously, I think the end goal was going to be I have this whole little tripod thing that I've kind of been developing that I don't see on the market. It's very exciting, and hopefully I'll be a part of that. Yeah, thank you so much, Cliff Creates. I really appreciate it. Yeah, please come back, and I would love to check out your stream as well. So, see you there. See you there, my friend. Yeah, really appreciate everyone being here. So anyway, that's a good transition period. Let's go back to the work at hand, the photo at hand, because we are wrapping this up. It is getting a little late, I guess. I do have to eat at some point, and I don't want to bother my roommates. Gotta be quiet. I do actually eventually. There's some soundproofing I have to do in here, which it already is very dead. This room is very dead, so it's a very good. It's a very good room to do audio capturing in. This is literally a converted closet, so very dead. And then I have plenty of asbestos on the roof, just breaking up the reflection of the sound on the ceiling. But I do want to do some soundproofing on the one side, just in case. I don't know. I think for some streams, I'm going to have to use a lavalier versus this kind of mic, freestanding mic or whatever you call it, because I need to move around a lot to do those. I am setting up a little tiny macro studio over on the one side of the dark room that eventually, like I had the logistics of that have been a headache. So I'm working at that on that stream from under my bed. Radical. That's really cool. Stream under your bed. Stream wherever you want. Dude, stream from inside a hose. That could happen. I'd love to see that. If you're not joking, low base guy. I would love to see that. Yeah, I gotta. If you guys all stream, man, I'm definitely gonna be on your streams. So yeah, again, thank you for being here. Anyone who's still here, who's leaving, I really appreciate it. Um, and yeah, we will be changing a lot. So really, really excited to show everybody what I have in store. We have a lot of cool stuff coming up. So anyway, without further ado, I'm gonna say this is pretty much done editing. This image is done editing. Unless again, I think I asked a while ago if anyone saw anything. My hoes are too expensive to let me stream with them. Well, you gotta get a couple more in different area codes, and then it's all good. That's what Ludacris thinks, at least. I don't know. The man was actually only singing about his gardening franchise. Okay, I'm gonna just throw that out there. The man was only talking about his he has a garden franchise. It's a chain store of gardening supplies called Hose and More, and he just is franchising all over the place, and he was just bragging about his franchise. But you know, people took it the wrong way, and then he went with it. He went with it. Go with the flow. Anyway, ramblings of a madman here. So let's see. Okay, is there anything else I want to do to this? I don't think so. I also say this. I will probably, before I post this anywhere, I will most likely take another look at it because it actually is really tough. I mean, I'm editing this, especially this is color. I mean, if you read anything about color management and getting the colors accurate, I am in no way. I mean, with a bright light like shining right in my eyes in this room, I mean, like it literally gets down to the point where you have to have the room painted a certain color. I'm pretty sure you want like neutral gray. The lighting has to be very specific color. I believe you want daylight balance color. Monitors have to be calibrated, which is a whole can of worms. I mean, there's so much with color management. And I know, for instance, this is not going to be like, I could be like, you know, just blocking that light out. I don't know if anybody ever does this, but like if you look through your hand and isolate the image, the color actually can completely change. It looks very different than with all this other stuff mucking it up and going in your face. So I always, when I get off, I will generally finish the stream and I will get a better idea of how this looks without all this bright light source and distractions. So if I say this looks good, don't be surprised if when you look at it later and you say, hey, he changed that, or he changed, like, yeah, I might not completely finish this on here. Damn right you want neutral gray. I mean, my computer backgrounds are neutral gray, but, and the, you know, why I edit, I think on one of the other streams I mentioned, I did have the medium gray backdrop like this going, which again, that's like you're saying, or what we're saying, that's what, you know, to get accurate colors, that's what you're going to want to look at. But when I'm more shut outside, when I walk back, my opened eye is super blue and closed eyes. Yeah. But I mentioned on the stream, we were editing on gray, but I know this image is going to end up being presented on a white backdrop. And that does actually, in my opinion, affect how much contrast, how the exposure's set, because of that white border. It does end up changing the look of the image. So then I was like, well, why not I'll just, because I was taking these out of Photoshop, throwing them into, or taking them out of Adobe Camera Raw, putting them onto the white backdrop. And then from there, I'd adjust a little bit of contrast or whatever, which we might still do. But I was like, well, I'll just start with the white. If I know that's the destination, I'll start editing on white and then have a little bit less to do at the end, but we'll see. Right, yeah, edit with print presentation. Oh, that too. I mean, if you are like me, I mean, a print is really the final way to show images. And I think one big dream of mine, obviously, would be after doing this for so long, to have an actual exhibit and have these printed. I think the last stream we did talk about printing, because the last edit we did, I did have a giveaway, and I did give one of the prints to one of my patrons, which is something the patrons can look forward to on my Patreon when I eventually get that set up. I mean, it's set up, Paul Mossy Hinton on Patreon if you're interested, but um, I would love to do a show and print, the series that I've printed. I work on all these Right with Light episodes. You'll hear me talk a lot about creating a collection of images, and these photos that I'm editing might not individually all add up to one collection, but the idea of them being the collection that we've been editing is kind of fun. Every 100 followers, yes. I hope I can win one of those prints. I love I don't collect too much stuff, but I do love collecting photographic prints. I actually have this awesome print that my dad had done that's been one of my favorite photos sitting over here. I also collect photo books, are my favorite, like some of my favorite things to collect. I do hope to do some photo book reviews, maybe not necessarily on the stream, but the YouTube page is going to end up being a lot of content. Some content I can't really produce on a stream necessarily, but I do love prints, and if I had the space, I would own a lot more, and the money. If I had the money and the space, I'd have my own photo gallery. Man, that would be cool. Photo every book in Neely's class. Oh, I still have that for sure. I actually will probably do a review on that. Brooks made us buy that too. Yeah, I think that's like standard. Wish I had it. I know it's here somewhere. Believe me, it is here. Like all the photo stuff is like stored away. But I definitely kept that book. I love reading beginner photo books. Like reading just because the way they describe the understanding of shutter speeds and aperture. Like I just love reading that stuff, even though I know it all, but because I know everything. I just love reading those simple, the way that, and then the images they use to demonstrate shutter speed and aperture, depth of field, stuff like that. It's really cool. Went to school. I did not. Well, I went. Okay, so high school for me, high school was college. I took every photo class I possibly could. I actually saved my my report card, which maybe I'll share sometime. Yeah, we went to me and some of the other people on the stream here went to high school together. Gary went to Brooks Institute of Photography in Santa Barbara, which is now defunct. As far as I know, it's not there, right? Brooks is gone now. I was just up in Santa Barbara earlier this week. It was beautiful. It was beautiful up in Santa Barbara. I have some photos from that. Ended up going to Brooks. Yeah, still legit before it got bought out and sold off. But yeah, so anyway, I did not pursue after high school. I had already started working in high school as a freelancer. And then I think I still also worked. I worked at an eBay store doing the photography at an eBay store, which I'm going to talk about. I have so much to say about that. I knew that I was not going to pursue a 4-year school right off the bat. I took a year off getting right out of high school. I took at least one semester, maybe not a full year, but one semester off. And then me and a bunch of my friends all went to community college together. And I did go into the photo programs. And it was actually, I wasn't disappointed. I mean, the teachers they're great. They were nice people. What bothered me was I tested out to get into the advanced photo classes. You did a portfolio review, and they test you so that you can get into these advanced photo classes. And then I take these photo classes, and there's kids in the class that are like, what does aperture do? Like, what is a shutter speed? And it's like, I don't know. It felt so silly. And I don't know. I've got really disenchanted. I have a lot to say about that. I almost went to a photo school. There's a couple photo schools that I was looking at, and decided last minute, or not even last minute, but over the course of my life, decided that was not the route I wanted to take. And I really just wanted to shoot and work. And that's what I did mainly. Cameras, lenses I use. So I'm not strict about camera, what what cameras people like. I don't judge. That's what I'm saying. But so I just got, and earlier on the stream, I was this image that I took here, and this the special thing. One special thing about this image, at least, is it was this will be the first image that I'm going to share that I shot with my new Canon R5. I love this camera. It's a beauty. And this was shot with the R5 and the 35 millimeter 1.8. Such a good combo. And if you're not a Canon system guy person, most camera systems have a beautiful small. This is the smaller. Well, I guess they don't have a fast, large 35 prime yet. Although I've heard rumors of a 35 1.2. But 35 1.8, it's super small, super compact, super light, image stabilization, macro. It's like a 1:2 macro, or 2:1 macro, 1:2 macro. It's not a full macro, not 1:1, 1:2. But super beautiful lens to walk around. 35 millimeters, definitely one of my favorite walk around focal lengths. Never wanted to be a professional runner, but enjoy helping new creatives learn, not judging either. Yeah. No, I didn't think you were. There's some, a lot of animosity towards people that shoot with different gear, and I am not a fan of that kind of mentality. So I would never, like, I've shot my whole life. Shot Sony, I shot Nikon, if you want to pronounce it like that. Shot Canon, shot, obviously, I was talking about my Argus, which I've definitely shot with, which I'm going to do some more with. We're going to shoot a roll with one of these or both of these. I do have two of them. If you missed earlier in the stream, I talked about both these and the reason I got them. I won't go back into it now. We'll do a lot of streams talking about this camera though. And I got all the accessory lenses. These things are so I got them for like $20 on eBay. Canon, do you let's see. Wait. Camera lenses used primarily. Yeah. So yeah, mainly Canon. I do try. I mean, my favorite subjects to shoot are architecture and interior. That's also what I sell myself as professionally, is mostly architecture and interior photography. And if I reach down here into my dehumidifier, wait. Yeah, I wasn't set up to do that. I do own, and if I have it my way and I can shoot on a tripod and I have the time, I will definitely use the tilt shift lenses, these perspective control lenses. These are my favorite type of things to shoot with. These are my favorite lenses. I have a lot to say about them. This is the 50 millimeter 2.8 macro. Incredible lens. I have so much good. I mean, one reason Canon is definitely one of my go-to brands. Although again, I do not hold that much of an allegiance to anybody and don't judge people for what they shoot. But Canon does have the widest range of native mount tilt shift lenses, perspective control lenses. Nikon definitely running runner up in second with that. In fact, they came out with their 19 millimeter tilt shift, and I was like, oh, I want that lens so bad. Slightly newer design than the 17. But this 50 is very unique and beautiful lens. And I also just got that 135 macro tilt shift, and I'm like, oh, and I'm going to be shooting with these on the stream eventually. Like I said, have a little studio setup thing over on the other side of the room that I'm just working out the logistics of how I can get that done. But that's the kind of photo shoots I can do on the stream. It's going to be hard to do anything more than that right now. Gear only matters to the point that it's not in your way. Yes, I enjoy gear. I have a fair amount of, but I do the majority more, which is a small percentage of my gear, right? Consider photography and gear collecting to be two separate hobbies. Yes, that happen to complement each other. Wow. It's like I'm talking to myself. Seriously, like literally, that's, I say to everybody, like, photography is like my passion, and collect the gear and stuff. That's like the hobby. Seriously, like, wow. 5 true macro lenses, but don't have a problem or anything. No, definitely not our problem. In fact, someone on one of my streams, we were talking about Fallout in this particular case, but no, you do not have a problem. That's awesome that you have those, and you should buy more. Buy every damn macro lens you can get. There's so many cool, and macro lenses are like abundant, and they're also cool. I think one of my next lenses, I don't know if you have the Canon MPE is a 65 millimeter macro, right? It's a 5-to-1, or it goes down to 5-to-1. It's like it's only one. It's either 1-to-1, like you can't shoot anything but macro with it. 5 of my 20 lenses, no addiction. Also, yes, you have the MPE, yeah. So that's gonna. I really want that lens, and I'm hoping they come out with an RF mount version of that sometime. I'm not holding my breath because that lens has been out already for so long. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I'll adapt it. I actually just ordered the drop-in filter adapter because that actually is a pretty big benefit. One of the things about the EF mount tilt shift lenses, or any EF mount lens adapted to RF, is you have those beautiful drop-in filter, or the drop-in filter adapter, and you can use a polarizer or the ND. I'm hoping they come out. Maybe they'll come out with some other cool filters that you can put in there. I don't know what else you'd want, but all I needed was the ND and the polarizer, and you can use those behind the lens. Where something like the 17 millimeter tilt shift lens, you used to have giant, like 150 millimeter filter adapter that was like an off-brand thing. Wonder Pana, I think, is the brand that made it. It'll use the control ring adapter. Yeah, I don't have one of those yet. That'll probably be another one I buy soon. I've been shooting Canon mirrorless for over a year and still don't have any RF glass. Well, I mean, yeah, if you don't, obviously, well, they just came out with that 100 millimeter macro, which maybe will be your first purchase. I don't know, throwing that one out there, because that lens looks amazing. There's like that depth of field control ring on it. I'm interested to see what that looks like. Yeah, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about the system is like you bought into RF, and like, you can build that RF glass, but you don't have to abandon all your stuff. I mean, like I said, with the control ring adapter, drop-in filter adapter, I mean, it's like they added functionality to the existing lenses and made them better. It's really cool. And while you could adapt EF lenses to like Sony or whatever, that like the drop-in filter and the control ring stuff was like, a big step up in my book. Looks nice. Honestly, RF glass is too expensive. Oh, dude, that 152. I've owned I don't know if it was the same model, because I'm sure they've had multiple 150 millimeter macros, but yeah, that Sigma 150, because I think that 150, it's like one of the only 150 millimeter lenses on the market. Like, I don't remember seeing any other 150 millimeters, just, and it says an interesting focal length. Almost just ran into my room. My aunt is sleeping in because I want to find that fucking photography book. Yes. Better for live skittish subjects. I was the Tamron 135. Oh yeah, Tamron 180-3.5. So that's probably a couple 150s. Okay, yeah. Oh, the Irix, that's right. Irix is so cool. I saw someone selling a used 150 not that long ago. I'm a big used gear, just for, like you're saying, gear. This stuff is not cheap. And that 135 Tamron's probably, or that 180-3.5 Tamron's probably beautiful, huh? Ended up giving it away when I got a Sigma. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, you had the 150 Irix. That's right, yeah. Which the Sigma is probably autofocus, and the Irix is definitely all manual. Does that even have electronic aperture control? I can't remember if you can control the aperture or you have to control the aperture manually, or you can do it in body or electronically. Some of those manual focus third-party offerings, one of the biggest things that frustrate me about it is that the aperture, you got to be closing it down manually, and that's tough. I have the wait, hang on. Well, I'm not gonna grab it. I was just closing. I hope you gotta keep your lenses. I'm gonna do a whole talk about this. I keep my lenses in my rugged dehumidifier. Very important. If you've ever seen a lens grow mold and fungus, no bueno. Irix's manual focus. Yeah, okay, it does have electronic contacts. Good stuff. Not to say, I think with macro, you're probably not that big of a deal. Autofocus for macro. Right, yeah, you don't really want autofocus for macro. Right. Sigma's very well stabilized. Right, yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Beautimous. Yeah. Well, dude, rent that. Maybe rent that RF mount 180 or 100 millimeter macro, and report back. I would love to know. I loved they had the EF mount 100 millimeter 2.8 L macro that was beautiful because I stepped up to that after I sold the USM 100 millimeter macro, the non L 100 millimeter 2.8 macro, and then I stepped up to that L series 100 millimeter 2.8 macro, 90 millimeter macro. Oh, right. Yeah. No, I'm not. Yeah. Yeah. You got your bases covered. You got your bases covered. Here, I'll try to keep working while we chat. Whoa, no. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna say this edit is done. By the way. Ooh, what's that? No, that's good. Okay. So let's open that up. Again, if I make adjustments to this later, don't I probably have to. Again, we went over the color issues with editing, and this is not the good setup for a color grade session. It's just not. So I might make adjustments. Just don't judge if you see this posted later and it's like, yeah, you changed it. You took the UFO out of the image. I was joking that one of the stars was a UFO. If you didn't see that. So I'm gonna open up my template, my Instagram white template. And all we're going to do is a real simple transfer. And I think I mentioned this every single time. No, that's a 300. I swear one of these. Yeah, this is at 240. Okay, the resolution, I know I'm always mess that up. Whoops. Like I mentioned earlier, it's judging. Wait, nah, joking. Judges, joking. Gary Lewis and me or him. UFO, yeah. We're joking. There's not really a UFO, and I didn't Photoshop out the UFO, but there's no UFO. There's just two planets or stars in there that you're not gonna see on Instagram anyway. Anyway, dropping the resolution down to 240 just so it matches. And then I know that backdrop is a 10 by 10. So I just make it a 9 at the widest side. And then that drops it right in. And it should be perfectly formatted to, let's see, where's my center line? Yeah, my Photoshop, I did something wrong and it like stopped giving me the vertical position lock line thing. And I don't know what I did. I had to fool around with that. I forgot to mess around with that after the last stream I did. I think that's centered. If you're flying and you're not sure what it is, it's a UFO. Yes. Yes, but it wasn't flying. It was probably just a planet or a star. It probably was. I don't think I've ever captured. Well, I might have captured some UFOs. Who knows? We'll go digging. I'll go digging through my stuff and find some UFO images. I actually shot this really interesting documentary a while ago that I don't think it ever came out. That was all about UFOs. It was a very interesting story. I won't even go into it. It's called America's Fall from Space. And I actually don't know. I kind of lost touch with the director a little bit and haven't been able to reach him. And I don't know where it's at. The last thing I'd heard was like, hey, it's finished the edit. Let me send you the DVD. And I was like, cool, yeah, I'll take it. I'd love to see what happened with my work like 10 years ago now or whatever it was that I shot this. And then I didn't hear from them and I never got a DVD. And then I moved like 5 times and I can't get a hold. So I don't know what happened to that, but it's an interesting story. behind that documentary. At least I think. Okay, and then that's on our background. Then let's just do a little signature, of course, which I think this is something we've talked about before. Is like, I don't know. Like, originally I was just doing my actual name. Well, originally I wouldn't sign any of my images. I remember, like, in school, I'd be like, I don't want my name on there. It mucks up the image and distracts people and stuff. But in this day and age, it's like you gotta have your name on there. And I decided I think I'm gonna be using my handle rather than my actual name. I'm gonna be using my screen name handle and my Twitter's handles and my Instagram handles and my YouTube handles, because obviously that's where I want people to be able to find me. Placement of my signature. Yeah, it's an art. Placement of your signature and the signature itself is an art. I'm going to do it very simply. Or that's how I do it. Such a weird way to type. And I should check if that's the similar font size. I'll do that after. I don't need everyone to watch me futz around with that. But yeah, I think, like, depending on the composition, to a few inches under the image, a person could hide it or cut in. Right. That's true. Yeah, that's very true. I find, like, depending on the composition of the image, that I will want the signature either on the right side or the left side, or I think I switch it up. I'm going to check how I have this, like, maintaining of consistency in, like, everything I do. And, like, so I want to make sure if I've been putting my signature on one particular side, I'd like to try at least on the white border. I also have been trying, at least on the in-game photography images, I was putting my little Twitch logo and then my handle in the image, because I actually don't want someone to be able to crop it out if they take it and post it somewhere. Obviously, I mean, I am looking at this as a business. I really want this to be, I mean, I'm really trying to go as like, I mean, I've invested a lot into this streaming and YouTube content thing. And like I said, as an artist, I'm like, I don't care if people know who took my photo or whatever. And like, like, yeah, I'm a really cool guy, of course. But I also need people to find me, and I need people to know that I did this and that people are going to come and watch and support, because I need that. Fortunately or unfortunately, I do need that. So I'm going to be a little, pretentious and put my name on there, I guess. Or I want people to know, if I put it on the image, it makes it a little bit more difficult for people to have to crop it out, because you could crop, you crop this image out and then there's no signature on the actual image. So it's not that it would be hard for someone to Photoshop it out or whatever, but it's a little more discouraging. If you build it, they will come. Yeah. Yes. That's a good, yeah. Field of Dreams, man. I should watch that soon. I want to do it a few. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Nobody's interested in stealing my photos. I don't know. I'm going to look at your stuff. I guarantee you it's beautiful. I wouldn't. Also, positivity stream. You hit me with something negative about yourself, I'm hitting you right back with some positivity. I bet your work is really beautiful, and you should definitely understand the value that it has. One of my buddies, who's also, he didn't recently get into photography, but he recently started looking at it as more of a profession and more of a way to make money. And he was asking me a lot of questions about printing, and the value of his prints and how much he should sell his prints for and stuff. And I was like, dude, well, your value starts with you. How much your images are worth, how much your work is worth, starts with you. And if you don't believe that it's worth that much, no one else. I mean, yeah, maybe people will miraculously be like, oh no, obviously that can happen, but you have to choose. You have to set your value. I mean, there's a huge value in your photography and what you're worth. I have a lot to say about that. One reason I decided to do all this is that I do not feel like I've been treated well in the professional world, and that I've been extremely undervalued. And I was kind of done feeling like that, done feeling like other people are telling me my value, and where I can't really decide how much a stream thing is worth or whatever. If I'm selling my prints, which eventually, I think one way I'd like to be able to make money off this is selling my prints on my website and stuff like that. But I'm not going to sell. I mean, I'm definitely going to have a higher price than maybe it might seem I should have for now. And maybe I'll have smaller prints that are worth less or whatever, or not worth less, but like less expensive. But I'm always going to set my value very high because I believe it's very high. And everyone, and you're a low base guy, I guarantee you your stuff is worth plenty, and you should definitely understand that your value is your value. Let's see, where's my screen? It's up here. Your value is like way over the top there, and that's definitely your mind. That should be your mindset. Yeah. Keep your value. Your value is good, is high. And anyway, yeah. So my friend was asking about his like how much he should set his rate, and I said the same thing. Like set your value, know your value, and no one else is gonna. If you can't say it's worth X amount of dollars, it's gonna be very hard for anyone else to believe it. So, yeah, you're worth a lot. Okay, everybody out there, not just low base guy. Everybody, you worth very much. And wait, you know what? Let's do that. Let's emphasize that one. You're worth a lot. You have a very high value. Don't let anybody else devalue you or make you feel like you're worth less. You are worth exactly what you feel like you're worth, and your value should definitely be very high. Okay, that's the truth. Yeah, with that, I think this image is done and edited. $1 million price tag, check. Check going right into the bank. It's not unheard of for photos to sell in the millions. I mean, I think, God, I want to say there's an artist named Andreas Gursky that used to have like the highest valued or highest sold photo. I believe the photo is called Rhine 2. Looks great. It's fun how drastic it is from where you started. Yeah. Anyway, Andreas Gursky, I think one of his images sold for $2 million, and then there's another photographer named Peter Lick, landscape photographer, who also I think has claimed. I think the thing is like he claims that something had sold for in the millions or whatever, but I think it was like hard to prove because it was like a private buyer or something like that. Won't even get into that controversy. All individuals together. Yeah, there's one thing I'll say about photography as well. I believe that we are all, working together. Again, if I'm just emphasizing the beauty of this world, and trying to capture how much beauty there is in it and display that. And yeah, we are all working towards the same thing. So yeah, all individuals together. I like that. Fun how dry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think that's pretty good. So let's just save that. Whoops. Gotta click back into Photoshop. Doofus. Pop that. Whip. Whoa, where am I? Yep. My exports folder. Let's see, what should I title this one? I don't even know what I'm going to title it. I've talked a lot about titling, just how the Aurora Borealis works. Oh, yeah, okay. I also claim that Ed didn't edit it. Oh, that's right. Yeah. It was like the clouds. Yeah, the whole thing with the clouds behind the moon. Yeah, Peter. Can't argue physics, bro. You can't argue. Yeah. Yeah. I remember, that was a lot of fun when that whole thing blew up a little bit. Aurora Borealis this time of year. Localized entirety in your kitchen. Yeah. I was talking a lot about titling works, and that's never been easy for me to do. Deciding how to title something, and it must be difficult for everybody because I don't know if you look at any photographer's body of work or a photo book, you're going to notice a lot of untitled images, just untitled, 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 because it is very difficult, and adding a title can actually change the context of the image and change the way it's presented. So, I'm very sensitive to how I'm going to name something and how that's going to change how it's perceived. Um, but on this one, I'm gonna call it Beach Serenity. Working title. Everything's a working title. I think I've even said several times like the title of the show is like a working title. Like everything is a working titles. It's fine. So, or I'll say Ocean Serenity. Ocean Serenity. That's the vibe. I mean, that's the feeling that I want to instill, is like the serenity of standing on the beach, enjoying the sunset, relaxing, taking a moment to just pause, reflect on your life, or don't even think about your life and just enjoy the beauty of that moment. And that would be what I would that's a fitting title for now. sRGB is fine. I will save one Photoshop copy, and then I will also save, or actually, here's what we're gonna do. Even though, again, I might make adjustments to this, although I might think it's fine and not make any adjustments at all. But I will do the Instagram sizing as well, which is gonna be 72 at 1080. I believe Instagram, last time I checked, I try to check regularly if they've upped the resolution, but 1080, as far as I know, is still the max that you see. So there's no point in uploading it any bigger. And I also am very interested in how it compresses if you do upload something larger than 1080 at 72. Like, I'm just curious how that works. I have no idea. I've nothing to do with that, and I have no idea. But yeah, JPEG copy. Don't need that copy on there. Boom. 12. That's fine. Like I said, I might make another one. Like I think I might mutz around. I might just nudge my signature, my handle a couple times. Tides. Photo of the tide. Yeah. I won third place in an image comp with a photo titled "A Very Patient Damselfly." Nice, yeah. Dude, I'll throw some. I would love to do some photo contest. Actually, yeah, I don't know if I want to put on photo contests. There's a lot of controversy with photo contests, so I don't know. Bought that. I mean, I'd like to believe, like I said, it definitely changes the vibe of the photo reading what it's called and all that. But like, I don't know. I'd like to believe that the judges are just looking at, like, they just have I picture just a big wall with all the pictures, obviously perfectly lit for display and all that. Or if it was digital, I mean, I don't know if this is a digital contest or not, but or a digital only, or if it was a print show or whatever. But that's how I picture them, like in this big gallery, like all the pictures set up, and they're just judging, just sitting there judging them. But that's again the controversy of photo contests. There's so much controversy in it. There was like a big thing that had happened not that long ago, which I don't even remember what it was, and I won't get into it. But either way, photo contests are cool, and like I said, I it'd be cool if I put one on. Like they have photo contests in Fallout, and I've never done one, but that's because it's not in game. It's like, I think you have to do it through Bethesda's website or something. I don't even know how you upload them, but whatever. Judge one PPA affiliate level image comp, and I'm done. Soul sucking, yeah, I bet. Like, it's a YouTube and you can go watch it. I'm visibly miserable. Oh no, yeah, I would love to see that. I mean, I don't love to see you miserable, of course, but I'm just saying, yeah. Yeah, photo contests, crazy. Anyway, I'm pretty much wrapping up here because that's all I had prepared. I already, this has been so much. This has been so much more than I thought it was gonna be. I'm really glad I jumped on tonight. I was very close to not doing just because I didn't have everything set up properly. Again, trying to get over that mindset of like you have to set it up properly, has to be perfect. But um, this has been like an incredible day. So I really appreciate everybody. Wait. Let's do this. Why am I doing this small screen? Let's let's just go to just the R here. Yeah, this has been an amazing stream. I really appreciate everybody coming and checking it out. If you're new, very thankful. And I hope I can live up to the expectations if you have any. And I hope that you enjoy what you see, and I hope I can add first raid. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. I'm so like you don't need like I'm getting the like where you're hurt because it's like you're smiling so much, like your thing hurts, like it's like expectations aren't that high. Well, still I don't like to disappoint people, so but yeah, I've been like I'm probably like I said, if you could see the color, I'm probably like totally red. So yeah, thank you guys, thank you for being here. Thanks for being a part of this. I really hope you guys enjoy this type of content. And if you're new, please follow. Plenty stuff going on. We have plenty of cool stuff that I'm going to do on here. Plenty of future broadcasts that will be even better. Always reminding you to love yourself, love others, love life. Peace. My signature, by the way, you might have seen me do this a couple times. It's a slash. I have a whole thing to say about that. But yeah, very nice meeting everybody that was new. Really hope to see you guys on the next stream. And thank you all